Are you mad? Stop it. See that? He's not shot. Yes, he is. In the chest, Theo. Waltz just stands there. It clearly causes him pain. Ruby waves for him to come over to them. No. He'll buy you the time we need. Hatchet will never let him in. Make her. Put on a show. Waltz limps over. He looks left and right non-stop. Tell her I'm off to get bandages. We have them in the house. Exterior, northern tents and beyond, sunset. A shootout behind the haystacks and the carriage. 12 men, evenly distributed on either side. Only escapist 4 lies by himself, on the carriage, a lifeless cherry on a cake. Spittoon man appears. He has, well, a spittoon in one hand, and is headed for the open passage between the haystacks and the carriage. Also, he mumbles. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. Psalm 23. Haystack hider 1 cowers at the edge of the barricade, from where he can see Spittoon man coming. He aims at him, but refrains from shooting. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He restoreth my soul. Spittoon man reaches the passage, lifts the spittoon up high. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness. The shots stop. Questioning Tendler closes his eyes behind the carriage. For his name's sake. Horse-shooting Tendler looks at him, dumbfounded. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. The men behind the haystacks lower their weapons. They listen, and Spittoon man parades the passage unharmed. That's the closest Beer City ever got to a miracle. Spittoon man walks on out of town to where the dead horse and rider lie in the dust. His voice grows more confident. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Exterior roof of Hatchet's brothel, sunset. Fawn and the box of grenades are in the middle of the roof. He's on his back, looks to the sky. Thou preparest a table for me in the presence of mine enemies. Fawn hearkens, turns on his belly, crouches to the side of the roof, tilts his head to listen. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Exterior southern tents before Beer City Main Street, sunset. Sampson and the posse walk towards the southern field of tents. Carmine and Eel pull the Gatling by the harness that's made for a horse. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Exterior roof of Hatchet's brothel, sunset. Fawn peeps over the edge of the roof. He sees Ruby hurry across Main Street, then hesitate to enter the saloon. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Ruby enters the saloon. Exterior northern tents and beyond, sunset. Spittoon man starts to jog, then run, spittoon held high. He screams a miserable war cry, drowned out by a whirring that sounds like 1,000 angry hornets. When Spittoon man has almost reached the dead horse, a metal clang, and he goes flying through the air as if smacked by an invisible train. He hits the ground in a sprawled pose that matches the horses and riders, spittoon in hand. Interior saloon, Beer City, sunset. Boswijk has a full glass before him. He sniffs the air. That's not old Hatchet. He turns around to find Ruby standing between the corpses. The sight makes her visibly sick. It's the smell of death. Not in my nose. That's all you, my dear. How can you even sit in here? They forgot to tell her to be nice to me, huh? They? Them who told you to spy on me. No one told me to do anything. Yeah, right. I wasn't part of... Of this? She looks at the bodies on the floor. Good. Would have ruined an exquisite torso. Care for a drink? Boswijk reaches for another glass, pours liquor in it while Ruby just stands there until she finally gathers the ends of her dress, steps over the bodies and joins Boswijk at the bar. He pushes the glass over to Ruby, raises his own. To my health. He drinks, slams the glass on the counter. Hey now, don't be rude. It's bad luck to skip a toast. Ruby drinks. Thank you. Now, why don't you put that bottle on the bar? But it's right there. Your bottle, missy, not mine. Do you want to hide it all night? Ruby reveals the medicine bottle from the far side of her dress. Does indeed put it on the counter. What's in it? Soothing syrup. Boswijk scoffs. It's powerful. That's so. I take it myself. Spoken like a good salesman. Well then, I'd like a demonstration. Boswijk turns ever so slightly towards Ruby. What? You heard me. Go on. Ruby uncorks the medicine bottle. She lets her shot glass collect drops, counts them silently. Yeah, that's for a baby, I reckon. You're a grown woman, my dear. Ruby holds the bottle and the glass in midair. You really don't want company, do you? Maybe I do, but the quiet kind. The very, very quiet kind. More mid-air indecision, but finally... No, you don't. Ruby pours a proper teaspoonful of syrup in her glass and downs it in one go. Slam goes the glass on the counter. How much do you take to sleep? About half of that. No, that's a lie. Ruby hasn't had a good night's sleep in years. Too bad. Hold on for a bit longer, will you? He pours 2 more glasses of liquor. Are you going to hurt me? Would you like that? I don't enjoy pain. Your old Hatchet does. Did you strike her? Did she beg you to do it? That wasn't me. The new girl, then. They didn't send me. The conversation grinds to a halt. Boswijk drinks. It's the innocent. They forced me to come and... I don't care. And no one's innocent, not here, not anywhere. Grind, halt. About Hatchet and Sal. Will you... Is it true? Yes. They're already dead. All of them. Save one. Save one. Exterior, prairie outside of Beer City, sunset. Sprawled spittoon man moans with pain, checks his legs, finds a bloody stain on one calf. This doesn't draw his attention nearly as much as the spittoon. It now has 2 holes opposite each other. Spittoon man pats his cheek, the back of his head, no blood on his hand. A mad smile conquers the face, and the man gets up on his good leg. As he hops triumphantly, mangled spittoon raised overhead, he yells towards Beer City. I'm through! I'm through! It worked! Interior saloon, Beer City, sunset. Boswijk grimaces like a pleasantly surprised wine taster. Here goes another one. Ruby turns to see who Boswijk means, but it's still just the bodies and her in the saloon. Exterior, prairie outside of Beer City, continues. Look! I made it! I... He stops to celebrate, clutches his chest where that hole is. A question forms in his eyes and he looks stupid for a second before he collapses into a lump. Interior saloon, Beer City, continues. Like a sommelier of fates. This one stole. From his friends. From his boss. From anyone. And he hated himself for it. Boswijk shakes his head in disapproval. Pathetic. Ruby looks lost for a moment. It's like weeding out. You don't want to ruin crop. For the body. Why don't you pick one then? Done that more than once. I don't mind getting surprised for a change. Is this a game to you? Why is it not to you? Exterior backside of Hatchet's brothel, day. A nervous waltz reaches Theodora and Ruby. Is that the only hole in you? In that leg? I need to get away from here. You can't. But you can come inside. We're waiting it out with others. Living only, no dead people allowed. Let's go. I need your gun first. Waltz takes a step back like a distrusting, wounded animal. Our house, our rules. Christ almighty. He hands Ruby the gun. She passes it on to Theodora and scrutinizes Walt's leg. How bad is it? Bad enough. Make it look worse when you get inside, and listen to what Theodora here says what happened. Why? Ruby is about to turn and lead the way, but stops. Do you have a flask on you? Yeah. Show me. Waltz produces a pocket flask. Not much left in there. Even better. Drink up. Interior, saloon, beer city, sunset. I don't mind playing. Boswijk pours Ruby another glass, but her hand protests. That's rot gut for the rounds on the house. Ruby produces Waltz's flask. Before Boswijk can say a thing, she unscrews it, takes a gulp. She wipes her mouth. Don't you know that Hatchet tries to poison the drunks? Worst kept secret in no man's land. Boswick's hand demands the flask, and Ruby gives it. He takes an even bigger gulp than her, then makes a face. Ugh, that's sweet as hell. You're not used to good stuff. Boswijk is ready to spar with Ruby on this one, but something about the flask quiets him quickly. Ruby watches Boswijk anxiously until he begins to laugh. Interior, salon in Hatchet's brothel, day. Waltz reaches for the doorknob of the entrance door, but Theodora takes his hand. No, stay, it's okay. Behind them, Hatchet frowns with the assembled house guests. How dare you? It really is, Hatchet.
You didn't tell me you had dead people in here too.
I'm not dead, you son of a... He'll be coming for you. Who? Sampson. You're with the hired guns, south of town. Soldiers. Why are you not with your kind? Because I'm a cripple. And when they come to town, all hell will break loose. You're safe here. Theo! Where's Ruby? They took her. Took her? His men. They're not my men. Sampson... Hatchet signals Waltz to shut up. He does. He won't shoot at his own men. He will. They abandoned him. And they didn't. And he won't. Exterior, southern tents before Beer City Main Street. Sunset. The wheels of the Gatling quarter turn in the dust until the massive barrel points at the middle of the tents. Eel and Carmine drop the harness. It falls in the dust. Interior, saloon, Beer City, sunset. Boswijk is in the finishing stage of a hysterical fit. How long until it hits? It's different for different people. And then what? What do you think will happen if I fall asleep? I don't know. Think they'll all drop when I drop? Will they? Exterior, southern tents before Beer City Main Street, sunset. The posse behind the Gatling. Sampson gives Cyril a nod. And you'll be free to go. Will they? Who knows? You do. Boswijk grins. He pours himself another glass, stares at it, then yawns in Ruby's face. Let's find out, shall we? Maybe they'll all go down, and then I don't get my champion. Then I wake up, and I still have this bag of scars to live in. Then I walk out of here, and I find you, and then I take you. Yeah, that's as good a plan as any, ain't it? He leaves the glass be and instead puts the flask to his lips, drinks, but Ruby is quick to snatch it from his hands, to Boswick's amusement. Getting scared, huh? I'm a woman. I noticed. You wouldn't want a woman's body. Why's that? It's impractical. Interior Hatchet's office, brothel, sunset. Hatchet sits behind her desk, Salome on the floor, back against the desk, in a numb stupor. On the contrary, something's wrong. Everything is wrong. No, with this story about Ruby. Hatchet gets up so abruptly that it stirs Salome from her stupor. She hurries after Hatchet, who grabs her rifle from beside the door and storms out into the interior hallway and salon in Hatchet's brothel continues. Jasmine and Theodora sit armed in the salon, look up to Hatchet in her stride down the stairs, trailed by Salome. Walls and the other two look uneasy by the nailed windows. They took her, yeah? Ruby? You never told me what that noise was. Hatchet reaches Theodora, doesn't wait for an answer, just aims the rifle straight up at the ceiling and fires. The sound of a shot, and a hole in the roof not far from where Fawn lies on his back. Another shot, another hole somewhere else. Another shot and hole. Fawn reflex rolls to the very edge of the roof. Interior, saloon, Beer City, sunset. Boswijk closes his eyes, draws a deep breath, as Ruby studies his every move. Ah, here we go. He yawns. Exterior, southern tents before Beer City Main Street, continuous. Cyril begins to machine gun. The Gatling's barrels rotate steadily, spitting bullets that mow down a line of tents. Rat-tat-tat-tat. Bloodstains on tarp. Screams. Men flee. Exterior, Main Street, Beer City, continuous. Rat-tat-tat-tatting. Far away but loud enough that it stops Hatchet in her enraged walk across the street. She and Salome, guns in hands, duck and stare south. Interior, saloon, Beer City, continuous. Ruby knocks her shot glass from the counter when the rat-tat-tat-tatting jump scares her to turn around south. Boswijk runs a hand across his face, eyes still closed. What is that? So many sheep. Exterior, northern tents and beyond, continuous. A faint but unmistakable rat-tat-tat-tatting makes the two parties behind their barricades give up cover. All men stand up, look to Beer City, guns lowered. Interior, saloon, Beer City, continuous. Ruby steps back from the bar when Boswijk grabs his chest, staggers backwards, sways, eyes closed, grin on his face, rat-tat-tat-tat, until his knees give in and he falls to the floor. Ruby gets down to check on his breath. What is this? Hatchet and Salome in the doorway. Ruby gets up quickly. Hatchet! Salome hurries to kneel by Boswick's side. He's breathing. What have you done? Nothing. He just fell. Interior, salon in Hatchet's brothel, continuous. Distant rat-tat-tat-tatting. Argyle approaches Jasmine slowly. She points a gun at him, but backs away at the same time. Now or never. Back off. Don't be stupid. Theodora sneaks up on Jasmine, snatches the gun from her. Good. Interior, saloon, Beer City, continuous. Rat-tat-tat-tatting. Hatchet looks down at her chest wound. She has to steady herself on her rifle. Hatchet? Salome sees Hatchet struggle, turns to unresponsive Boswijk. Hey, wake up! Ruby moves to support Hatchet, but Hatchet leaves the rifle in her hand, pushes off, begins to kick Boswick's body. Wake up! Stop it! Salome and Hatchet hover over Boswijk like doctors in an ER. Salome shakes the body by its shoulders. No! Step back! Ruby aims the rifle at Hatchet. Don't you dare point that at me! As Hatchet reaches for the barrel, Ruby fires a shot that sends Hatchet careening. She howls with pain, clutches her shoulders, staggers over the corpses. Salome, still on the floor, draws her gun. She and Ruby shoot at the same time, but the rifle only clicks, discharged, and Salome misses Ruby, who hurries for the door through which Hatchet already disappears. Interior, salon in Hatchet's brothel continues. Rat-tat-tat-tatting. Argyle breaks window glass with his gun when he pushes the barrel through a slit in the boards. Exterior, Main Street in front of the saloon continues. Rat-tat-tat-tat. Hatchet stumbles out into the open. A shot whizzes by her. Ruby comes running out of the saloon door. "I'm sorry! I'm sorry!" Hatchet reaches for an ankle, produces a tiny gun. Tumble turns around, still retreating, and, "I didn't mean to," shoots at Ruby on the porch of the salon. Ruby ducks away, then runs for the brothel. Interior, salon in Hatchet's brothel continues. More window glass breaks so that Foley can take aim too. Exterior, Main Street continuous. Rat-tat-tat-tat. Salome exits the saloon, greeted by 2 shots from the brothel. She fires back, moves into Main Street, looks for a sign of Hatchet, but a shot blows up dust at her feet. Salome finally takes to her heels as Ruby slams a fist on the brothel's door. "Open up!" Interior, brewery, Beer City continuous. Rat-tat-tat-tatting. Hatchet barges in, almost rips the door off the hinges. She closes it behind her, clearly in pain. She surveys the dark interior in which the fermentation kettles reign supreme. Interior, salon in Hatchet's brothel, continuous. Waltz closes the door behind Ruby. Argyle and Foley are still in shooting position by their windows. Jasmine stands crying into Theodora's shoulder. "You got her good?" Ruby walks up to him, snatches his gun from him. "Hey!" and beats Argyle with it. He goes down, hands raised in defense. Ruby straddles him and only hits him harder. Exterior, Main Street, sunset/night. Salome runs, in tears. The last light seems to vanish at the same rate as Salome's nervous looks around increase. She hears another shot whiz by closely, flees town. The rat-tat-tat-tatting grows louder as Fawn listens to it, on his back on the roof, eyes wide open. The louder the Gatling's rat-tat-tat-tat grows, the more he closes them, and the slower the gun rhythm gets. Few could find comfort in the sound of a machine gun. Fawn had never even seen a battlefield either. But he had seen armies of men, tools for weapons. He knew all the sounds that metal makes. Fawn had heard them clamor in discord most of his life, but once, just once. The gun rhythm steadies to a glacial pace and blends into the steady sounds of hammers that hit railroad spikes. He had heard them all come together, in harmony, like instruments of an orchestra. Hammers hit spikes on either side of a railroad track, a group of Chinese workers, and another group behind them, and then dozens of hammer-swinging groups for half a mile. That one day, when the world sounded different to him. Fawn sees the half-mile of hammer-swinging groups from a ridge, and the parade of tracks that men carry and put in place before them, busy centipedes. By now, the rhythm of the hammering and the rat-tat-tat-tatting have converged completely into a hypnotic beat. As with many great achievements, this one too resulted from a bet. Who could put down more miles of track in a day before the teams from the west and from the east would finally meet and complete the Transcontinental Railroad? Fawn smiles at the scene before him, but gets swept forward with a group of Chinese workers. Exterior, roof of Hatchet's brothel, night. Fawn still on his back, the same smile as in the flashback, while the same hypnotic beat keeps its soothing timing. He was there. He won. He and thousands. 10 miles of track in a single day. Exterior, Promontory, Utah, day. Hammers hit spikes, tracks carried by worker centipedes, supplies dragged by horses, men shout instructions, all of which in time with the hypnotic beat. A harmony unlike any phone had ever seen or heard. Hewn, piercing, drenched in sweat and breathlessness. A harmony turned memory. The beat and images intensify until the original rat-tat-tat-tatting replaces them again, only to stop abruptly. Phone as before, eyes closed, a grin on his face. He begins to snore.